Lila are from Santa Monica, California.
Perfect. Good morning. My name is Lila, and I'm an alcoholic. Thank you very much. Aloha. Ha, ha, ha. Aloha. That was great last night about the breath. Okay. You know, I'm speaking Sunday morning, so you're going to have to take a few things for granted. I'm an alcoholic. I got sober. I've been sober a long time. Most of my character defects grew in my sobriety. They existed before I got here. They were here when I got here. I hid them for a few years. They grew like mad. I became very sophisticated, very spiritual, hid them again, but there's no way out. Consequently, that's the rest I'll fill in on Sunday. So since it's a workshop, I've been a little resistant to doing workshops on the steps. If there's a title, I'm delighted. And I love listening to Maury yesterday, and I thought, oh, damn, she looks great. And, so it's a good thing I brought something with me that's fantastic, and I'll wear it. And yet, as I ran into some friends around, they said, oh, you look so rigid, in your striped shirts and your striped this. You've got to get like Hawaiian looking, and what the hell, So I went with Jane to the store and Glenn's wife, and God, I got all this colorful stuff. It's fantastic. And then I thought this morning now, this actually pertains to what you think when you're sober a long time, if you're an alcoholic of my kind. I got up and I thought, no, I'm too traditional, really. The longer I'm sober, the more old-fashioned I get. I expect certain things to be a certain way, and I actually get uptight if they're not. And, the meeting starts on time, blah, 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 and, you have to look a certain way. And these things are important. And I'm looking in the closet, and I thought, well, here's a chance now for you to actually relax and be different. Are you going to take it or not? I mean, you're in Maui, for God's sake. Practically don't dress for the meetings at all here, I see more knees in Maui than I've seen in my entire existence, Well, that's good. Fine. And I thought, no. Don't have just do your thing, Because I'm in a little space in my sobriety, and it's going to be scattered, because I am. I go through these changes in my sobriety where, things are different. I don't even know what the hell they're all about. I just know I'm different. Things are changing. I'm in a shift. It's a great thing. And it doesn't matter what motivates it and where I'm going to come out, but I'm just changing. And when I'm changing, I frankly don't really want to talk about it because I don't know what the hell's going on. And I'm in these places where things just have to be a little more different for me because I need to connect more with my own center of my own existence. And you have taught me how to do that. If it wasn't for Alcoholics Anonymous, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what these steps were about. I wouldn't know how to walk into myself. And I'm always surprised when there's a longer distance inside of me than I ever anticipated. So here I am this morning looking at the closet thinking, wow, that's really a great linen shirt. You really should wear that. And then you're going to feel like yourself and everything's going, you know the drill. And, one of the most dangerous things in my sobriety is when I know the drill. Because then I want everybody to walk that way, think that way, be that way. I have absolutely no outside of myself. And, I'm going to do this. And I thought, well, no, I have to do it. And I thought about Maureen. She looked great. That was a great shirt and it covered. This is what I think about in meetings when I'm listening to somebody. It's really spiritual out there. Well, I've wanted to meet her because I've heard the CD. Oh, she's younger than I thought. And she looks actually quite good. Jeez, I thought she'd be a lot older than that. And, what the hell? This is what I'm thinking. The woman's up here pouring out her heart and soul, and I'm thinking, yeah, she looks great after a flight from Toronto, all those hours, get up at 9 o'clock. Jesus, I don't know if I would look that good myself, She's got a great watch underneath that thing. I thought, this is great. Well, what am I going to tell you? This is real life. So I took the shirt that would have been the traditional thing to do, and I took it out of the closet and I put it on, and they have mirrors on the door, and the button popped right off. Can you imagine? Right into my hand. I thought, okay, I got it. And, I put on Hawaii. Yeah, but I have to say the ancestors of, when they talk about their ancestors here, and this will all lead to why the steps are everything to me now. Why they're absolutely everything. I get that whole ancestor thing. There's so many changes that, if you're lucky, occur to you from the day you arrive in Alcoholics Anonymous. And, I looked at the title and I thought, there's an arrogance to that that's unnecessary. 38 years and why they're more important now. Listen, they were important when I was 5. They were really important when I was 5 because I was just getting that they existed, that there was actually something else, that there was actually a program, a ritual, a tradition, a way to do things that was more than my adding in what you said to me and all this stuff. And I knew that there had to be a path that I had to follow. There had to be a path, and it had to be more understandable to me, that it was just too broad, almost, this broad highway we have here. It was too much for me. So around 5 or so years of sobriety, I began to realize, Lila, get serious now. Get over yourself. You've been out of Ireland a long time. You can do the rules, and you can do the steps in the order that they're actually written. You don't have to say, I can work any step at any time. What the hell is this, and who is that guy anyway that wrote that, and who are they, and what are they saying? Jesus, everything was a resistance. Everything was a battle. Everything was a fight inside of me. You'd never know that when you'd meet me. I was so pleasant and so nice. And everything was terrific. And inside I'm thinking, for God's sake, if I hear that person one more time, I'll kill myself. Or I'll kill them. And this isn't enough for me. Or, oh, Jesus, what are we going to do? And blah, 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 blah. I had to I don't know where I was, in the middle of the country, United States one time. And somebody said, you do the 4th step one time and that's it, And I thought, if that were the case for me, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. All the time I'm changing. It's changing. And then I'm 10 years sober. How old was I? 10 years. And, I was successful when I was 10 years sober. Well, Jesus, try handling that. When basically the root of who you are is that you have no self-worth. The root of who you are is that you fundamentally believe that you're not good enough. So what do? I run out and I prove, sober as a judge, sober, with all of Alcoholics Anonymous patting me on the back for my great success, that I am enough. Some people take to their bed. No, not me. I run out there and prove that I'm enough. And I have all this stuff out there, and you should say, look at this now. She's obviously enough. The truth is, you're not even thinking of me. It's all in my own mind. It's all in my own mind. All in my own mind. And I buzz along doing all of this stuff. Not really. I'm doing all you're supposed to do. I couldn't be, I'm of more service, and I put out the chairs because I am a creature of habit. I'm an alcoholic, for God's sake. You just connect an alcoholic up into anything habitual, and they will do it for the rest of their life. So when I got the habit thing, well, now you have to put out the chairs, put out your hands, say hello, blah, blah, blah. I got it. I still do it. I'm like, that's okay, that's fine. Go to meetings for the rest of your life, they would say. Okay, I didn't intend to do that, but that's fine. And here I am now. When I have something go off, I go to a meeting. God willing, and I maintain my spiritual condition, I'll be doing that for the rest of my life. Put out the chairs. But I don't always do it, but if I notice a chair straggling out there, I certainly do. And in my meetings at home, I'm always the one. I'll never get up from my chair if they say, I'll put the round ones on the thing, the yellow ones on the rack. AA is so the same absolutely everywhere. And I was in a foreign country once, and I was at a meeting, and I just needed a meeting. And they didn't speak English at all. It didn't matter to me. It didn't matter to me. I am so AA-oriented, and I have become such a habit and a product of my habitual practice of AA that I went to this meeting with the foreign language, and everything was the same to me. The coffee smelled the same. The sound of people talking before the meeting is the same. The chairs are pretty much put out in the same position, and I knew exactly when it was time to pick them up, put them against the wall, and do all those habitual kind of things. And I'm talking about that, and I'm kind of glad that there's no new people in the meeting, and if you are, that's great. What you do in the first few years is whatever your sponsor tells you, despite what you think, especially despite what you think. And if you think they're stupid and they don't know, it doesn't make a bit of difference. Because later on in your life, you're going to be desperate for that direction. And you're going to have the need to habit of having had it and having asked for it. And you know, all the things that they're going to tell you to do at the beginning, you do them. And when you're listening to a workshop like that, like this, because, you know, I was talking to someone that I know is going to affect what I'm going to talk about, and maybe you'll think, well, you know, I'm not sober that long and all that kind of thing. It doesn't make a bit of difference, you know. The habits we achieve at the beginning are the habits that you count on. Is the simplicity of AA, for me, what keeps me sober, is what I learned right at the beginning. I still put the chairs up on the wall. I still get involved in the coffee. Maybe I'm not as consistent. I still look for that newcomer. I actually try to find them after the meeting, you know, and I don't go out of my way if they're not, like, right there. But sometimes I do, depending on my need to connect up. So I'm a person of habit. I'm a person of habit. So at the beginning, that's what you have to just get inside of you. I mean, if I were to have stayed on Alcoholics Anonymous because I heard all these things, I wouldn't be here. I couldn't hear anything. But I felt something. And all those old guys, I mean, they knew I couldn't hear anything. So they gave me things to do. They gave me a seat to sit in and things to do. And so began the process of Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, this we thing about the steps and the we and the we and the we and the we. Well, you know, it is a we. But it's a we for the fellowship. And it's an I for the program. I'm telling you, if you didn't provide the meetings, if you didn't have the sponsors, if I didn't have the peers and the friends, the other people in the sandbox of life that I kicked sand on and they kicked it back, and we did the, you know, as they talk about, they played in the playground of Alcoholics Anonymous. If it wasn't for all of that, I just lost my train of thought, which is a really good thing, because I have begun to just bore the hell out of myself. Let me get what it's about here. I always feel for the newcomer. So if you're new, do what they tell you to do. Get in the habit of it, and that's it. And if you're 5 years sober and you don't have an intimate knowledge of the 12 and 12, something's wrong. This is my experience. This is my opinion. One of the great things about workshops is you can expound on your opinion, because that's what they're for. You know, that's what they're for. And that's what I'm going to do this morning. I mean, I have no authority other than my own need to continue to have a spiritual way of life. Only because my desperation to keep my path clean and clear and bright is more present now than ever, because I understand the damage and the destruction that I can cause to my own soul. And I also get it. I get it. This is why the steps are more important to me now than ever. I get it. Nobody can cast a shadow on my light but me. I have no longer the ability, as a result of working the steps over and over and over again, I no longer have the ability in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous to blame you for actually anything. What a horrible position that puts a person in. When you can't blame them. It's an absolutely perfect understanding to me that 8 and 9 follows the first 7 steps. Because I don't have any problems in the whole wide world that are not related to a person. There isn't anything that isn't connected up to some person. So consequently, I get it. I get that I have to spend some time making room, clearing away, and receiving the gift of this program before I can even deal with the people that are my problems. So in the first few years of your sobriety, there's a very practical application to these steps that must be followed so that you can do all the outside things. You know, you can get rid of the outside wreckage. And that's why the 4th step and the amends all work, and you do exactly what the sponsor tells you to do. And the day will come, you know, when you'll be a sponsor yourself. And then you'll copy some of what that guy told you to do, and you'll add your own little ingredient, and that's how we pass it on. But the basic fundamentals are pretty much the same. You're listening to an inventory, and, you know, you're writing down on a secret piece of paper the guys who he needs to make the amends to. And when he's all finished and feels good about himself, you say to him, and by the way, now, you'll feel much better as soon as you take care of this little business with, you know, blah, 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 blah. And if you're going to make an amend, don't say, I'm sorry, just change your behavior. Then it'll take 20 years for that to make sense. You know, don't make a financial amend without bringing your checkbook. They don't want a deposit, I'm sorry, slips in the bank, you know. So there's a whole basic and simple thing. I think, and this is where I'm getting to, because I was just talking to somebody this morning, and they said to me, you know, and I was listening to Danny last night, and that was great, you know, thank you. And And it was interesting, talking this morning, listening to him last night, 2 people yesterday said, I had such a difficult time in my sobriety around my 18, 19, 20 years, And I thought, that's interesting, because that's exactly what happened to me. So that's why, secretly, I'm sort of glad that the angels popped my button off my shirt and then took the newcomers and put them somewhere else this morning, God knows where. Because, frankly, I believe their little asses should be right in this meeting, but that's, just an opinion. I was sponsoring one of those people. I'd say, where were you this morning at 9 o'clock, for Christ's sake? She's still alive at 38 years. You should just show up to see if they're breathing, for God's sake. Someday, all of you will be in your 40s. I mean, we're going to have people in Alcoholics Anonymous that are 40, 50, 60, and 70 years of sobriety. They're coming in at little guy thanked me at a meeting, and he thanked me with one hand and had a skateboard in the other hand. I thought, how the hell is he going to do that? How is he going to do that? And I thought, well, and then he calls me on the phone. I thought, well, this is going to be interesting. How do I convert skateboarding into the steps? Well, I found a way. I'm Irish. I can do anything like that, Well, now we're just going to whatever it takes. All I do is put my head down, as I do before every meeting, and any time I ever share in a meeting, and say, hey, I'm here. Please show up. Please show up and do with me as you will. I am just the messenger. I don't care really, frankly, whether you like what I say or I don't like what I say. It's me. I could be completely different tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock if I were to do it again. I find out these great moments of wisdom. They're phenomenal. I have this information. It's like, oh, my God, this is going to change my whole life. I forget it by the next day. All it takes is somebody to look at me the wrong way. I'm off, So consequently, do I need the steps? Absolutely. 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 And in my 18th to 20th year, was that the time when it was the most crucial that I had something that was mine? And we all have this in Alcoholics Anonymous. We have the meetings, and if it wasn't for the meetings and the chairs and the coffee and the assignments and the service and the putting out my hand and the being a sponsor and sponsoring and all of it, I would not have a safe environment within which I could let loose the chains of my soul. I just couldn't have it. And that's what you gave me. And you said, we. And I needed, and I need today, a we. But I knew that there was something else going on. Because as I would read the literature very carefully, I would see things in there that would say personal inventory, personal honesty, receive. Well, you can't receive collectively like that now. They must be talking about me. And when I began to read the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, not as the drunk that I was, but as the sober person that I am, oh, did it change me. Because I saw that all of those qualities of my drunkenness were the qualities of my sober life. And I saw that they had a problem and an answer and a promise. And I thought, I need that. And then I started to work the steps, and I read the first 164 pages again. I'll never forget it, around my 18, 15 to 20 years sobriety. It was as if I had never read it before. I thought, all the leprechauns have put all these extra things in there. How did I not see and feel the salve, the healing, the power, the grace of Alcoholics Anonymous to the degree that I so desperately needed? Because I was desperate then. I was dark. It wasn't enough. You see, I wasn't a newcomer. I wasn't, welcome to the newcomer, newcomer. I wasn't an old-timer, given the book, oh my God, reverence. I was just a comer. There's nothing worse for an alcoholic than just being a comer. There's no, specialness to being a comer. You kind of know people long enough that they're sick of you, you're sick of them. The aha phone calls are going on all the time. Okay, got it. Can't get anything clear. You wonder, is this all there is? Am I going to be doing this for the rest of my life? Could it be? This is it? Never mind the outside now. I'm talking about inside of me. Everything's clicking along on the outside, I think. And then I start to work those steps. Because you see, I get this. I get that it's a disease of the mind. I also know that if I ever choose to drink again, I'm going to make that decision stone cold sober. Chances are I'll start to make that decision in a room full of alcoholics in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. Oh, I won't know that I've made the decision necessarily, but the spirit of who I am, will start to leave the rooms. How do I know that? Because I've heard it so many times. Because I believe that Carl Jung was correct when he said that alcoholics are people in search of God. I believe that I'm a seeker. I believe that it will never be enough for me. And I believe that I must come to an understanding and acceptance in my life of my day-to-day existence where I'm comfortable. And I didn't have any of it. And all the things on the outside were whatever they were. It doesn't even matter now. But I looked around and I thought, whoa. What do I do now? And I prayed in a very different way. So much of what I did for half of my sobriety was up in my head somewhere. And it was all right. That's the scary part about the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, is you're doing all the stuff and it's all right. You're doing all the do and it's right. You're even thinking correctly. And you read all the books and you climb mountains, you blow out candles. Hell, that's what it's about. Live, do life. But unless someone like me has a means by which to channel all of that information and all of that energy into a spiritual little tap into my soul, you know what? I don't connect up. I drank and had a spiritual experience. I consequently need Alcoholics Anonymous to provide me with a spiritual experience. I have to have it. Now, you're going to give me the means by which to have that. But I am the one that must receive it. It's constantly there. I can't receive. I cannot receive. And when I drank that alcohol, it was a god to me. It was a spirit to me. It provided me with sanity. It actually worked for me. And when I didn't have it, I needed something equivalent to that. And so consequently, the spirit of Alcoholics Anonymous has become far more important to me. And you have provided a very safe environment for me. You have provided the ha for me, the breath for me, the spirit for me in Alcoholics Anonymous, so that I could become much more brave. And I got brave as a result of the darkness of my mid-years in Alcoholics Anonymous, because I was worried that I couldn't keep coming. I really was worried about that. I knew I had to. I had no intention of wanting to drink, but I needed more. I just needed more. And there was a frustration in me that I wasn't getting more, because you're supposed to do that for me. That's what it's all about. Take care of me. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that false hope, that false energy, because it is all false until I decide that I can drink you in. It was tough. No. And I knew from me that this was an inside job. I knew from me that this is what I had read about and heard about my whole life. This is what I had been seeking. This is what I'd run around and all that stuff for. That I was the kind of person that no matter where I went and got all these bits of answers, that if I could not find a way to funnel it back through Alcoholics Anonymous, through my program, into my little soul, I wasn't going to be able, and I was at risk. I was truly at risk. And I talked to a lot of people, and they weren't talking about, whenever that was, 20 years ago, they weren't talking about spiritual things in the same way. There was more of a very rigid traditional approach, and whatever, and act as if. And all of that keeps you to the point where till you find, what all that did? All that acting as if and all that blah, 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 and doing it. It got me well enough, so well, in fact, that I found out how sick I really was. You have to find out and be so strong in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous and so habitual in your program and doing it and when you don't want to and giving it away and blah, 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 so that you can have this strength inside of you that is so sound, you can then turn around and say, whoa, 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 whoa. Personal honesty. God, this must be what they mean. This must be what they mean. Because all of that isn't making me satisfied and content inside. It's safe. And so I began the steps. Impossible if you had a year and we spent a year together to discuss the experiences. Impossible. Because they come, you flow through them, and they go. And people say, well, you've done this thing on the steps and you should do it again. Well, I'll do it again when I'm ready, but I'm not. Because I'm different. Well, remember when you said that? No, I don't. Perhaps you even heard something I didn't say. I've had a lot of people hear things I don't say. It's fabulous. Say, oh, you said to me, and I think, Jesus, that's great. Could use that myself right now, Are they oversimplified for me now? The simpler the steps can be for me, the better it is. When I need it to be more, it will be more. And so during that dark period of time, I began, and I read the book from the table of contents to page 164. At that time, I didn't need their stories. I needed my own. I didn't have my own story. They said it last night, who you were, who you are, where you're going, or something like that. And I thought, everybody has their story in Alcoholics Anonymous. Everybody has their story. What's your story? What has been your path? What have you really thought? Never mind what you said. Never mind what you said. Because I don't want to ever sit out there again in judgment of what I'm hearing. Because eventually that judgment will be like a habit and I will let it go away. Eventually I won't want to come. Eventually I'll stop going. And eventually I'll be gone. And that'll all happen sober. So no, I come and I have learned to listen. I will listen no matter who is saying whatever they are saying. And I will listen as if there's something to be gained. Period. And I'll leave all the rest. And if I need it, believe me, I'll see them the next time I go to a meeting. It has happened to me. Go to a meeting, hear this guy talk, think, oh, for God's sake. Find one thing, think, that's it. Actually, sick as it is, say to somebody in the crowd, Christ's sake, can't stand it. Not going to ever listen to this guy again. Go to the meeting, have to meet someone, happen to be a newcomer, so consequently I have to sit in the front, not my usual drift in the back. Sitting because I am always an example of Alcoholics Anonymous, because I have a habit of doing that. I can't get out. Who's the speaker? Same guy as the night before, different meeting. I'm enraged. And I'm sober a long time. And in the front row with me are a couple of other people sober longer than me. They have their little obligations too. And we're all looking at each other like, for Christ's sake, that they could even allow people like this in Alcoholics Anonymous. The guy starts talking about Star Wars or something. He's totally out there. Sober a while, totally out there, and how he went to the movies by himself in the afternoon in Westwood Village to see Star Wars, and he never had a God, and we knew that. We all knew that. We've known that for a long time. This guy had nothing going down. We didn't even know the guy practically, but we knew that. Click, click, click. They're doing the swords in Star Wars. He gets the whole concept. Gets the Force. He's got it. He's got the whole way to get the Force. He gets Darth Vader. He gets his depressions. He gets the darkness. He gets the light. He gets the thing. He knows how to do it. He gives it away. He's got everything going on. And by the time he finished with this Star Wars stuff, all of us very sober people were like, whoa, that's great. Unbelievable. Whoa. He's still a fruitcake. Don't misunderstand. But I'm telling you, on a dark night, if I was in the deep, dark secrets of my soul, I'd be calling the fruitcake and say, tell me a story again about the movie, So consequently, are there any mistakes? No. Will there be resistance? Yes. The deeper I go, the more I hide. That's the way it is. Why are the steps important to me right now, right this minute, right now, right now? Because I'm so in touch with my need to be peaceful. I'm so in touch with what I do to myself. Trust, I'm not doing as people that have time are. I don't have big problems. I handle big problems. That's not that hard for me. I take care of my business. My side of the street is pretty much cleaned up. Crap happens. I handle it. I know how to handle it. I'm calm, cool, collected. I walk myself through the step. I am powerless over X, and it's made me unmanageable. And it can be I am powerless over a big thing or I'm just off. Now, I am more at risk when I'm just off because I can handle all those big things, and I do handle them. But God, I'm still left with these people. Oh, Hana. Is that what they call them? The ancestors, the family, whatever the hell. There's always one out there, and if they would just get it, if they would just do it the way they're supposed to do it, and if they would just be consistent at all, then I wouldn't be so upset. I'm not a member of Al-Anon. God bless them. They're lucky. Telling you, but I drift in and out, and it all works, and all these programs they have out there. But all that stuff is just information to me. It's just knowledge to me. I still have to figure out a way to make it AA related. If I don't make that information and get the problem that I have in an AA form, I don't get it. I don't get it. And now, one of the things I've done in Jesus, 20 minutes. Oh, and I was worried about just blowing through some of the time. You see, God, any time I think on my own, it's an issue. All right, 20 minutes. Can't believe I'm talking about the steps. I haven't even gone through them once. I have a reputation for going through them 100 times. Even somebody said to me, could you be more redundant? Here I'm at a workshop for the steps, haven't gone through them once. It doesn't matter. What matters is I hope that for me, I've explained and laid the foundation that was important for me. The why of it. I don't care why, but the how and the need to do the steps and what I have to have all the time. I got to have meetings, got to have people, got to have the same person to talk to, got to have a few people calling me about whatever's going on in their little life, and got to have this and got to have that because all the big stuff's being handled. I'm old and tired, and I got money, and I'm okay. So everything's good. I got a great relationship, all this stuff going on, but I got all this little stuff that's in me. I got all this little stuff, and I'm a seeker. What's the biggest changes that have ever happened to me in Alcoholics Anonymous? My concept of God. What I believe in. What I believe in has changed. I would have to say next to the actual change of becoming a drunk to a sober person, that's the most constant change I have ever had. The seeking, the wondering, the saying, God of my own understanding. I almost feel guilty saying it because I don't have a God of my own understanding. I have a God of less and less and less understanding and a bigger and bigger and bigger God. I no longer have a God that I'm running around through the steps, through AA, through it all, trying to say, look at me, and I'm doing all this right. Do you understand? Look, I'm better, I'm doing it right. I got this thing, and I'm happening, and step one, I'm off. I have no power at all. I'm powerless, and I need this power back. Great. Step two, got it. And I know that's going to happen, and all I wish for is just a little balance. That's good. That's sane. Okay, step one, I don't have it. So I'm powerless, and I admit that I totally am. I'm just off. Don't know why. I don't care anymore why I'm off. When I get up and I'm off, I'm off. I don't care why I'm off. But if I don't get on, believe me, a lot of people will care why I'm off during the day. And I'm going to be miserable and have to go to a meeting. Star Wars will show up. I have to. And I'm the kind of alcoholic that so believes in the spirit and the energy of Alcoholics Anonymous that I expect Star Wars to show up when I need him. Because he does. I'm in the habit of expecting miracles. I'm in the habit of having it be taken care of. The difference is I'm in the habit of knowing that the only way it's going to take care of is if I execute the sixth step and, God will not render you white as snow, it says, without your cooperation. And proper and correct use of the will is, in fact, to reach for that God and to seek that God. And that's what you have given me. Proper and moderate use of my own will so that I can make room. And consequently, I have to receive. So when I'm off, I get up and I say, I just feel off. And the longer you're sober, you know when you're off. You know when you're off. And if you think for 1 minute that anything's going to fix it but you, well, forget it. Try so you can fail. That's the best thing to do in Alcoholics Anonymous, is fall down. Because every time you get up, it's as if you have more spirit and more energy. You can't look around at all these alcoholics and compare yourself. You will never, ever, ever measure up. Ever. Ever. If you're like me and you're born with I am not enough, and they are more powerful, do you think that goes away? No. It just gets tempered. But today, do I feel as though I am enough? Absolutely. Because I am more than I have ever been. I am more than I have ever been. I have used the steps so consistently in the last 20 years. That excludes the 18 before that, where I used them inconsistently. Where I was still using you and the meetings and didn't understand that this program was given to me and this fellowship was given to me so that I would be safe enough to use the steps to go inside of myself, and that perhaps I could find in there someone, a person that no longer was in such desperate need to be connected up. And so I misunderstood as I used the steps and used the program of Alcoholics Anonymous and all the good deeds and work that I did and all the whatever, so that I would be proving to this God all the time. And I would consistently, every 5 or 10 years, think to myself, well, what is it that I just don't have this natural thing with God? I just don't. I get it, I have a better relationship with my dead relatives. I trust them completely. That my sister would be here today? Absolutely. All of them. The more strength I need, the more Irish people I bring into the room. That's just the way it is. Do I get it? Absolutely. Have I got my own cheering section? Constantly. When I'm smart enough and wise enough and clear enough to ask them or to see them. As the Irish fairy princess says, and you part the mist, and there they all are. I have great trust in that. But why don't I have this thing that people seem to have? And that doesn't mean that I haven't been claimed to be great spiritual moments. And I got it. I don't know when I got it. You're walking down the street, one day you get it. One day you're walking down the street, you say to somebody, blah, 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 and you have it. You're working your whole goddamn life for it. You would think that you could at least appreciate it, like a birthday or something. No. You're just walking along, minding your own business, pouring a cup of tea or something, and you think, I got it. You have it. And you'll have it for the rest of your life. And that the minute you get it, you're on the way to another journey. It's an incredible thing. Like, wow, now what did I get? As a result of the steps of the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. I got that I can just say, look, I know that I am an alcoholic, save all that for Sunday. I admit that I'm off. And then I sense that my life is unmanageable. That's all. Don't care why, who, what, when. Just off. Off. And I know when I'm off. I know immediately when I'm off. And if I don't know right away, I'll get a headache. Or I'll trip. Or I'll crash into your car. Or I'll drop something. Or I'll cut myself. Believe me, now I consider those help from the other side. I would rather they not be so helpful. They would rather I get it quicker. They no longer have the energy to just bounce me around so that I can fall down. So I know I'm off. 1, I'm off. And I do it every morning, 3. Now, if I'm in trouble, I have to go all the way to 12. I'm off. Okay, no power. Got to get some power back. And I've heard over the years they put these words to the steps. I don't know where the hell all that stuff comes from, but it doesn't even matter. But they say the step of honesty. Well, it is the step of honesty to admit that you absolutely have to have help. You're not sure why. You just know something's off. It's off. It's wrong. It's desperate. It's got a shadow cast on my own light. Nobody can help me with this but me. I go there to get the comfort so that I will be safe enough to take care of the problem. That's what you do for me. You give me a place to be safe enough to take care of the problem. When I drank, that's what it did for me. It was exactly the same feeling. And here I am, and I go to 2, and I get the hope from 2 that I will be restored. Period. No power, need some power, off, need to be on, good. What do I have to do? All I have to do is go to 3. And I have to make a decision to get to hell out of the way and not do it by myself. I have never, ever experienced the pain of knowing that I was doing it by myself. There is nothing worse than being lonely and desperate sober because you're doing it by yourself. And consequently, I don't want that feeling. So off to me is the tip of the iceberg of doing it by myself. I'm off, need to get on, get out of the way. It's as simple as that. 1, need help, admit it. 2, restore me to this power. 3, out of the way. You can't make that decision for me. You can provide me with the place to make the decision. You can provide me with the call that somebody will help me suggest I make the decision, but I'm the one that makes it. In the morning when you wake up and you're off, 1, 2, 3. Off, get back on, make the decision. If it's chronic, and every year for me, I look and clean myself out, because every year I change, my perspective changes on issues of my life that are sexual and security and social. Social is anybody I'm not sleeping with at the time. It's a big basket, or anybody I'm not thinking about sleeping with, or whatever. And I just kind of like sweep through those little files, and I make sure that I'm current with all that. But if there's something that comes up all the time, I stop in the middle of the day, and I'll take a full 4-step, because anything that repeats itself, well, it isn't 10-step, take care of it. It's a problem. So consequently, I have no power. I need some power. I'm talking about spiritual power. I have to make a decision to get it and clear the light in my own path. What is in the way? What is in the way is the 4th step. What do I do about that? I talk to somebody. I still talk to somebody because I lie to myself. I still talk to somebody because I'm so sophisticated in my spiritual thinking, I could kill myself spiritually and not even know it. So I talk to somebody to share my experience and theirs with me, and then I go to God and I say, hey, here we are. I'm back. I'm off. Need to get back on. Made a decision to make room for you. Here I've taken care of my stuff. I've talked to somebody, pretty cleared up. 6. Watch out for 6. Entirely ready. Spend years trying to be entirely ready to do what the hell? What's entirely ready? I am entirely ready the second I say I accept the situation. How many years could I only accept something after it had a change, or after it was going to be solved, or after it was all right? No. I accept where I am right now. The problems I've had, whatever the result of 4 and 5 is, I accept it. I'm now entirely ready. And let me tell you, when 7 kicks in, after you get 6 and you're entirely ready, hang on to something. How complicated. I couldn't do the 7-step prayer. Too bloody religious for me. I'm not religious. Respect all those things. I don't care what people's path, light they follow is. But I just thought 7. 7 is so simple. When you have the pain of having to accept what you have created in your own sobriety, you will be desperate to say, God help me, please help me. Humility, the humility of saying, please help me. That's as simple as 7 is for me. Help me. Now, I'm not asking you for help or AA. I'm asking God for help. I've already asked you, and AA provided me the environment within which to get all the help. This is a direct communication. I am powerless. I need power. I've made a decision to get out of the way. What is in the way? You have helped me clear that path. I have now accepted that I am the one that is responsible for that, and I need help. That's the 7 steps for me. And if I need to do more before I get out of that bed, then I say, who is in the way? And what do I have to do in order to adjust that and amend that thinking, that person, that situation, because it's always a person. And then when I got that, and I know what to do because I've cleared a channel, I kind of know. You intuitively get to know this. If you do this every morning of your life, believe me, the answer comes very quickly. And there I am, and I say to them, I do whatever I have to do. I can't wait to get out of bed to do whatever I have to do. I can't wait to clean up my side of the street. I can't wait to be at 10 and say, woof, done. I can't wait. I hate it when my side of the street has you on it. I particularly hate it when you're not on it, but I'm on your side of the street in my mind. I can't wait to not have clutter on my side of the street. And there'll always be a haze because I have a family, because I have friends, because I live. There'll always be something going on. But as long as it's on your side of the street, I do not have an obligation to handle it on my own. I have an obligation to ask for help, and we will handle it. And since I don't know how to answer my own questions to handle it, what to fix, how to fix it, how not to fix it, I am consequently have to go to 11. So I wake up without any power. I want that power. I believe I'm going to get it. I always have. I make a decision to access it as fast as I can because I don't want to start my day without it. I say, what is in the way? If I have to get up and make a phone call, I make it right away, get it done. Sometimes I don't. Most of the time I don't. And then I say, here I am now. I accept this. I accept this. I accept it. That is the answer. I accepted my drunkenness. Consequently, I am now a member of AA. I accept my problems. Consequently, they're spiritual. They no longer are an issue for me. They will be handled. Everything is spiritual. It's all the same stuff. Drinking, problems, spiritual. If they're spiritual, I have a partner. If they're not spiritual, I don't. So when I get down there and I'm at that 8 and 9 and I know what the people are and maybe I've handled them and it's done and I've cleaned up my side of the street, it's time to say, and now it's you and me. Conscious contact with the God of my own understanding. And have I done everything they've ever said? You know, Riley had a God in the back seat of the car, and then one day he said, Jesus, the God was in the front seat of the car, and they're chatting. Well, you know, he's great sobriety. Well, I thought, fine. Who's there? Get in the front seat. I don't have all that time. Get over here now. Let's talk. I talk to God. I talk to dead people. I believe in everything. You'd have to prove to me that something doesn't exist. I believe if you say there's little green men out on, a volcano, well, hell, there's little green men out on the volcano until you can prove it. It can be proved differently. I believe that any thought is a good thought. I don't believe in waste. I have found this broad thing to think about in 11 and 12. I believe in everything. A person who believed in nothing believes in everything. Everything. And so I have a moderation in 11 because I now can talk to this God, and this God has changed. And I'm not running around anymore, wasting all that time proving how good I am to this God and saying, but measure it by my babies and my work and my 12-step and my giving and my God doesn't give a hoot. My God got me from the day I arrived on this bloody planet, and I'm the one that didn't know it. I have a God that gets me. I don't get God, but God gets me. I have yet to meet an alcoholic who doesn't need to be got, who doesn't need somebody, somewhere, somehow. And it takes the collective love and spirit of Alcoholics Anonymous to fill us up, the collectiveness of all of AA, all of the people that have gone on before us, and all of the people that will go on after I'm gone, and Mari, and we're all gone after we're gone. The collective spirit of all that is what connects us together. But to stand alone in your own little color, in your own little light, and know that there is something absolutely directing that energy just at you, it's an extraordinary experience. To say, wow, somebody gets me. I always wanted them to get me. I drank for them to get me. They get me. My God gets me. Don't understand that God. Don't even care. If I were to die this minute, I would die under the influence of the 12th step of the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. I would die full of the spirit that Alcoholics Anonymous has given me. I would die grateful. I believe those old guys when they said, you can't drink if you're grateful. It's not compatible. And so consequently, the 11th step is my constant, ever revealed, and ever interesting, and ever growing relationship with the God of my own understanding. But until I get to 11, I cannot get there without going all the way through. If I don't have made that decision in 3 very thoroughly, then I cannot get to 11. I must clear away you and me and it and them and all of it. And there I am. And I said, now it's you and me. And you and me do whatever we do together. But we start the day together and we end the day together. And at that end of that day, and it took years for me to get down on my knees. Oh, not because I'm religious. Do not misunderstand. I get down on my knees because I'm an alcoholic who never wants anybody at their back. I get down on my knees because I'm more humbled when I'm on my knees. I get down on my knees because I'm older and it's harder to get up fast. I get down on my knees because it makes me feel humble. And I thank that God for that day and for the people that are in it. And I say a little prayer for whoever needs help. And I hope that they can have some peace in their soul. And I admit that I don't know what the answers are. And the part that I left out is probably the most significant thing that I've ever done in my entire sobriety. When I get around in the morning, when I get up, I've done all of whatever I do, 1, 2, 3, and I sit at and I'm reading the newspaper, and then, do you really know? Because when you do some ritual in the morning, be careful now, because sometimes you do it, you don't even know you've done it. But when you're having a cup of tea and reading the newspaper, and you see all the sadness or whatever, life just kicks in, and you think, oh, well, I got to go here and do there, and what, I wonder. And all this stuff starts going on. It's just life, what should I do now? Should I not, What the hell am I going to do with it? I stop right away. I stop as soon as I catch myself asking all those questions and trying to figure out all those answers. I stop right away. It's a disease to let myself run away with myself like that now. And I write on the newspaper or a piece of paper that's sitting beside me, I put the date and I put DGS, Dear Great Spirit. I use initials because it's quick. I use initials because I don't care if I ever read the thing again. And I only ask questions. What do I do about that now? Should I do anything at all? How do I know? There's so many things in my sobriety that I do things about that I shouldn't be doing anything about, really. What do I know? Should I do it? Should I not do it? When should I do it? How am I going to know now? And I never put I just then said, thank you, I need and love you. Lila, thank you for my sobriety. Great, we're off to having a good day. I sign it, throw it out with the newspapers. And at the end of the day, maybe it hasn't been handled. So I do it again tomorrow. I do it again tomorrow because I know there'll be a tomorrow. When I was a drunk, I never thought about tomorrow. But as a sober person, there will always be a tomorrow. There will always be a tomorrow contingent upon my spiritual condition today. And so consequently, I go to bed and I say thank you very much. And I never answer my own questions. And then when I wake up in the morning and start it again, I realize my job is to clear that path so that I know that I'm going to receive the answer. So that when the answer comes and I hear it, or I see it, or it touches me, I know what it is. That's all I'm supposed to do. As a falling down drunk, that's all I had to do. Drink, be drunk, fall down. As a sober member of Alcoholics Anonymous, God willing, a day at a time, contingent upon my spiritual condition, for the rest of my life, because I believe those old guys, you're not here for a little time. You're here for the rest of your life. One day at a time, may it be. So in those days, here I am. Here I am, just being me, afraid that I'll get in my own way. And I need the steps of the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, because I have been sober long enough to know that the only person that casts a shadow in my light is me. Mahalo.